Hey there and welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel. I am Dave, I am back and I am doing another 10 comments from our channel that we are going to talk about. So this is where I've gone through our video comments, and yeah, there's some really lovely comments in there, some really nice supportive comments. There's stuff where you talk about the songs and your personal experience with the songs, and they're great. What I want to talk about the ones which might be a little more contentious but more detailed, and why. Because I think it's good to answer them and also to highlight some of our viewers. And yes, I can put it up in this video because you posted the comment online, so it's allowed to go on this video. Okay, so let's kick into these because I didn't realize how long the last video was. Okay, so the first one: what in the fuck is a whinger? Is that a made-up word? No, it's not. It's not a made-up word. This was and this was where we said, is grunge just doom for whingers? Video that we did. Just sounds stupid, and grunge is just a media created term. It is a media created term, but it is a reference point. So just so you know, it is an accepted. It may be a media term, but it is an accepted genre definition. People who say they love grunge don't even know Mad Season, and people who say they hate grunge, well, just sound like you bozos. Early Soundgarden is as classic doom as Trouble. Great bands. You can fuck right the hell off if you try to argue that. That's just poser nonsense. I'm not actually going to argue that because I agree with you with the early Soundgarden. And Dirt was as heavy and intense as a mournful congregation, and esoteric is whatever fad band at the moment. Now what this relates to is, so Andy really doesn't see the connection between doom and grunge, which me and Kirk clearly do. And that's fine. In his head, doom is a completely different thing. He understands where Black Sabbath came into it and how that influenced modern doom, but he doesn't really like that old stuff. We can see the transition from Black Sabbath also into the grunge and the doom elements, but for whatever reason it just doesn't connect with Andy. And that was what we wanted to talk about, because I think that was why we were trying to raise it, because he loves doom but hates grunge, and we couldn't. There's so many similarities. So I just thought this person was so annoyed. This is someone, we get called elitist. Now this is someone who is an elitist. We're in that comment where they said, if you don't know Mad Season, you don't know real grunge. I mean, that is an elitist if you're talking about it that way. So I thought that was quite interesting, where obviously didn't get the concept. In that particular video, I even talk about how doom as led into grunge and doom, etc. And I talk about bands like Soundgarden and Alice in Chains. So hadn't watched the whole video, I'm guessing that one. Next one. There are a few things more amusing than watching other older guys in black t-shirts and logos micro-dissecting and over-analysing songs. And while one gentleman has made it plain that he's not impressed, the fact remains this band, and any band really, has put their asses out there and are doing it while others are merely sitting around critiquing and jarring about it for clicks and ad revenue. Okay, so there's a couple of things in there. So we actually all, well, me and Andy both play in bands ourselves, so we go out and we put our own music out there and we sit there and we get critiqued and our music gets reviewed by people, and we play live and we put all the effort and all the work in, so we do understand it from another band's point of view. It's part of the reason we do this channel, is to support the grassroots music scene and cover live shows, etc. We even put on live events to try and support bands getting more shows. So we do understand all of that. Are we doing it morely for clicks and ad revenue? We'd love that to be the case. Now, 80% of videos on the channel are copyright claimed, so we can't monetize them. So most of the video reviews we do are non-monetized. We can't claim any money off of those, and unless we make 100,000 views on a video, we're not making any money off it. So our outgoings each month for editing, forgetting about any time that we use, just for physical money that we actually have to pay out for editing software, all of this sort of stuff, seriously outweighs any ad revenue. I think we make about £11-12 a month off of ads revenue across the channel, due to the fact of the copyright. So we do not make, and if we really wanted to do this about the money, we would be focusing on content that was TikTok based, short form content, We would be focusing on videos that are viral. We could focus down that route, but it would be disingenuous. We could act really surprised about music, be all over the top, be funny, and all that sort of crap that channels do to boost viewership. And it's entertainment. We understand it. They're not being honest about it. They are actually just doing an entertainment job, and they know that they're doing that, and that's what they're portraying. And that's completely fine, because they know that they're not pretending to be honest. Or maybe they are pretending to be honest, but it's quite obviously they're not honest. So they're doing what they're doing. We just sent out and went, we genuinely just want to talk about it from an honest viewpoint, from three people listening to music, about our thoughts and feelings about these songs, about it. And yeah, we don't make ads, and we don't make a lot of clicks either. So we're definitely not doing it for that. And I find it funny when people accuse us for that. If anything, with the copyright claims that are on most of our videos, we are actually adding revenue to the bands that are watching it. So if we've done a video on Arch Enemy and you're like, oh, screw you, or Baby Metal or something like that, they're all copyright claimed. We don't make anything on it. Anyone that watches our video, you're paying money to Baby Metal or to Arch Enemy. So you're actually helping the band that we're reviewing, not us. So there you go. Next one. Oh, commercially successful bands sound the same. What a freaking mystery that is. Yeah. And that's unfortunately because there are a lot of people that listen to music without the analytical mindset. So, and that's fine. The music doesn't have to be analysed. It's completely fine. And there are, have you ever noticed how many songs can be played with just 4 chords? It's the same with commercial sounding songs. If you listen to commercial sounding songs, they have got certain hooks, certain melodies, certain structures that your brain likes because it's repeatable. So a lot of these bands are very, very similar. So there isn't a huge amount of creativity in it. So that's what we were raising there. But it's successful because people latch onto it. Now, if you don't listen to loads and loads of bands and you just jump from a few bands from time to time, you're gonna get into that. But if you look at some of the most successful songs out there, they're like 2 or 3 chords. There's not a huge amount of work put into them, in my opinion. But they work very well and they are very hooky. And that's what gets you. Okay, we did a video about gimmicks. So from Mikey boy. Okay, Cannibal Corpse is all gimmick. The sound is a mess. So is Marilyn Manson. See, this is where I am actually going to disagree with Mike. I don't always disagree with Mike on this, but Cannibal Corpse is not all gimmick. I mean, there is gimmick in, I suppose, the graphical topic that they're trying to discuss, but they are not. The sound is a mess, but in that genre, it works very well. For me, I have been to a Cannibal Corpse gig in my younger days. Marilyn Manson was a gimmick, but did have good songs. Things are so bad these days as far as being able to get attention and break through, that quality seems to be irrelevant, and what matters is attention for getting gimmicks. I actually do agree that it's part of it nowadays. Some stuff isn't really music anymore as much as stage stunts. A lot of kids are just attracted to someone being as grotesque and loud as possible without regard to any melody or skill. Masks, growling, pyrotechnics, grotesque gimmicks, and flash, all that seems to matter now. I think extreme singing, unless used very sparingly where it fits, is not music at all. It's all gimmicks. Great musician, it does not seem to have any weight these days. Alice Cooper and Kraftwerk had a gimmick, but they were talented enough to have music that pulled it off. There is something to be said there. However, I think there is a lot of people that like the extreme stuff. I can't stand extreme metal and over-the-top gimmicks, but I do like a stage show. We had the question of, are you putting on a gig or are you putting on a show? Some people use the words either way, but many people just put on a gig and don't put on a show. It's like you're watching someone in a rehearsal studio. So there is a little bit about stagecraft that could definitely be pulled off, but I thought that was an interesting one. And then we have Mike again. I love a good analogy. I think this is where I was talking about food, comparing food to music. And this is a great one that you've made here. The Warning has an up-and-coming, potentially great new chef that was created interesting new ways to make steak, and then they decided to go work for McDonald's for a better pay. For me, melodic doom and heavy melodic prog are filet mignon. And this was what we were doing, comparing. I think what we're saying here is that if you watch that video back, we used a hamburger. So if you would say doom is a hamburger and groove metal was pizzas, for instance, if you always eat pizza and you're always into groove metal, and that's who you've eaten pizza, when a new groove metal band comes out and it's another pizza, it's never going to set your world on fire because you're so used to it. But if you get a doom band that kind of flits over with some nice interesting elements, you've never eaten a hamburger, so suddenly that's actually going to be quite interesting for you. But if to a doom guy, they've had hamburgers all the time, so a new hamburger is not. So if you're new to a genre, you have a very different experience to someone who's been there a long time. Okay, the guy on the left, to the left, was expecting a lullaby. He was probably way past his bedtime. Funnily enough, most of the time we do these videos, we do them early in the morning. So we film in the mornings until we're done by lunchtime, and usually we go out and have lunch afterwards to talk it over. And sometimes I think we're talking about Andy here. So if Andy's he's a funny guy. So on camera, off camera, laughing his ass off. Funniest guy going. But it's he can be quite a funny guy when he talks about it. But he shows his emotion when he needs to. He doesn't overtly. He doesn't play up to the camera. So I think that's what he was all about there. I'm glad to listen to all you three very successful musicians. You tell them how music and rock is done, and with your hundreds of thousands of fans that go to your shows. Wow. Okay, so this one here, we get this occasionally where people go, how dare you critique music I think we get different ones. So it's either how dare you create music if you're not in a band and you don't even know how to play, or we get unless you can play at that level you shouldn't be able to critique. I mean, I think that's insane. So we're not allowed to critique our government then, because none of us are politicians. So unless we're a politician, we shouldn't be able to critique what our government does. Is that what you're saying? Of course you can critique. You can critique anything you like. You just don't like it when you critique it because you're a fan of the band. The fact that me and Andy play in bands, now we get critiqued. I've had people turn around and they say they hate my drum playing, they hate what I do, they hate my band. That's your right. You completely don't have to listen to me and listen to my band. You don't have to listen to Nomadic Rain and Andy's band. It's fine. We're allowed to, and you're allowed to critique. It's called free speech. You can say it. It's not hate speech. It's free speech, and you're more than welcome to do it. But I do find it funny when people go down that route and they don't think about the idea that you don't have to be at the same level of something you're critiquing to give a critique. Okay. Next question was, I don't think your friend understands the definition of a riff. So this actually was partly about this channel, but was actually on my other channel. No, it wasn't this channel, it wasn't this one. And so Kirk had said something around the idea that he didn't think that the Warning did really do any riffs. And I think what he meant there was noticeable riffs or outstanding riffs. They do riffs all the time, and actually they do some very good riffs. So I think that was just quite a funny one of we just sometimes forget our terminology when we're talking about comments and views, etc. So I thought that was a fair pull up. Last couple we've got. So this one here is I think someone responded to that. No kidding, it's an opinion you guys stated that they don't play riffs. I've read thousands of reviews and many people have made these comments. What a great riff, kick-ass riff, amazing riffs. That's an incorrect statement, they don't play riffs. Please, why would you guys want to hurt the Warning? The most exciting band in many years, many people's opinions. I'm sure it is many people's opinions. It's not ours. People will talk about the Warning like they're the saviour of rock. Rock didn't need saving. Rock's been doing just fine. They're just another good band that are out there. I think they're adding some value. They are probably putting a little bit of focus back on the genre, so that does help. When they say they're the most exciting band in many years, for that person, fine. When people say amazing riffs, great riffs, I think for that person, it may be. I listen to riffs day in, day out from multiple bands, and sometimes I'll find a riff that I think is great, and I'll play it for Andy and Kirk, and they'll be like, nah. So it is very subjective. All of these things are subjective, so we give it from a subjective opinion, and people will turn around to me on that one and go, well, we subjectively don't like your channel and don't like your opinion. That's fine. Don't worry about it. We're not going to take any offense to that, so that's fine. Last one. Like how you complain about selling out for the ban, but you are here to exploit the warning for views. Hypocrites. Okay. What do we say? Right, so we get asked to review the warning. It's not just the case of we go through and go, we need to pick up what to review. We do sometimes, we'll get something like Nightwish will pop up, or the warning will drop a new video, and we're like, yeah, we should check it out, because we've been on a journey. We've got a reference point of what's come before, so it's quite nice to continue that journey. However, we do huge amounts of other bands that no one's heard of, underground bands, grassroots bands, so we don't just do videos for views. It does help. We would love, if we want it to be a very successful YouTube channel, the best thing we could do is pick out all the best, most viewed viral videos and review those. And turn around and say how amazing everything is. If we did that, we could probably have 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Not a problem. And view numbers that are right up there if we played the game. But we're not going to play the game because we do it the way that we wanted to do it, which was honest, reactionary feedback from a personal opinion and questioning. You have to question everything in life. It should be questioned. That's just simply the way it is. But I'm always interested. So if you've got any feedback today, please leave it in the comments down below, and you may appear on one of our future comment feedback videos. So thank you very much for watching today, and I'll see you in another video sometime very soon. Take care.